How did it feel to see yourself in the 48 frames per second 3D?
It felt surprisingly good, actually. I mean, because whenever you see yourself on the big screen, you kind of... There's always a part of you that goes, oh, really? But I think it's fair to say that, because 48 frames a second is a new thing, and I'd be lying if I didn't say that I had to make a kind of a rough translation when it starts, because your brain is not used to seeing movies that way. And it would be... I think it'd be disingenuous just to say, no, I didn't notice it was just perfect, and, I mean, I do think it's really good. I think it's really immersive, and I get why Pete has done it. But yeah, for the first 10 minutes, I was like, wow, this is not like watching a movie that I'm used to, and that and 3D, and also the fact that it's the film that it is. It's so fast-paced. It's so big. It's a big film in every conceivable way. All the technology for me is by the by if the story's not good. You know what I mean? Because I've never kind of watched The Godfather and thought, you know what this needs? 3D. So I think the technology always has to serve the story. And I do think the film itself, whatever kind of media you see it in, will be a right rollicking ride. And you can quote me on that.
To go back to the story, how did you feel when you first read that script?
Well, I read the book before I read the script, because the script was a while coming, and I think that's probably their normal MO, is that they, I don't think for a power thing withhold it. I think they want to show it to you when it's really, really ready. So for me, the book was a new thing. I didn't read it as a kid, so I read it in preparation to do the film. And I really liked it. I was surprised by the tone of it. I was surprised by how funny it was and how kind of modern it seemed. It wasn't sort of fusty, and it wasn't pretentious, and I thought it might be. But it was lovely, actually, and I think he's a lovely character. I think Bilbo's a good guy. But eventually, we saw the script. It kind of... We had what I thought was going to be a read-through on a Thursday afternoon, and they'd scheduled it for between 1 and 5, right? And then we go in, and there are people with booms, and it's like, this is not a normal read-through. And I thought 4 hours, that's a bit much for a read-through, isn't it? Little did I know, we also came in the next day, it wasn't done in 4 hours, it took about 8 hours, because every sort of 20 minutes Pete was stopping for a cup of tea and a biscuit and just a little conflab of where he saw this scene or that scene. So they like to, obviously 18 months for filming, they like to take their time, and they like to get it right for them.
What do you remember about the first day of shooting?
Being very excited, and there was probably a bit of trepidation in there, unconsciously. I wasn't consciously nervous, but I'm sure I must have been in some way, because I'd been down in New Zealand for 2 months, thinking, I want to do this, and then you're face to face with Gollum, and but it was great, actually. It was really exhilarating. Because Andy is so good. He is, it's especially in this junket situation, it's so sort of easy to say that everything, talk about everything in superlatives. But he is so good, and so when that is coming at you, you've got to be good, and you've got to raise your game, and he does do that. So I thoroughly enjoyed the first day of filming. Yeah.